My name is Gifty and you're welcome to my channel. Today we'll be having a tutorial on how to make this halter crop top, and I can assure you that it is pretty easy. Just take your time and follow us. It is very easy and well detailed. To cut your halter crop top, all you need to do is get your basic pattern like this. Then this is the shoulder line, the neckline, the armhole line. This is the armhole line down to your bust points, under bust, and the waist line. So the next thing you will do is to cut out your armhole measurements. I've explained to us how we can get our armhole measurement. So you start from the shoulder line to the armhole line. Then you measure whatsoever you have and divide it by 2, or rather you measure 4.5. Then on the half you measure half an inch. You come in by half an inch. That is for the front shoulder line. Then you cut out using, you shape out using your armhole ruler and your marker, or it could be your chalk. So this new armhole is for the front armhole line. That is if you are drafting a basic pattern for just a very simple way or something. So the next thing you will do is you measure 2.5. Yours could be 2 inches, it could be 1.5, but the half an inch is for the sewing if I'll be turning it with anything on both sides. So I don't want it to be too tiny on the shoulder. Then the next thing is you insert your nipple to nipple measurement, and that is 4, and mine is 3.5. I'll add half an inch to make it 4. That is the distance from one nipple to the other, and it will be done on your bust point down to the under bust. Then you connect with using your ruler to the waist line. You connect using your ruler to the waist line. So after that, you can see like it is pretty easy. This is to enable us put in our darts. So the next thing you will do is for the darts, you come in by half an inch on both sides. Take half an inch on both sides, and that would amount to 1 inch rather. So after measuring on both sides, just stick like this, and make sure you do the same for your under bust. Take 1 inch for the under bust as well. After doing that for the under bust, then make sure you connect using your ruler. And just make sure you do it on a straight line. Exactly. Then you go to the under bust, to the bust point, and come down by 1 inch. You come down by 1 inch. When you come down by 1 inch, make sure you connect together. Like this. So that is for your darts. So it is quite easy. So the next thing you will do is you use your armhole curve to secure a curve from the shoulder line, the 2.5 inches on the shoulder line down to the neckline, to the armhole line. But you don't want it to come down exactly to the armhole line, so you come up by 1 inch. That 1 inch is for it not to be on that armhole line directly. So make sure you rule out with your ruler and connect your curve to the nape of the neck. Exactly, you can see the way it is like that. Make sure you secure your curve. Having done that, the next thing you will do is you can come down by the neck by 4 inches for the neck. The first neckline, I did a basic body, so now I am coming down by 4 inches. You can make your 6 or to go up than this. It all depends on your preference for it. So this is the neck I'll be making, like this. Say just like the same thing with the altar design. Now that is the altar design we're talking about. Then the next thing you do is with your ruler, you are going to rule with in a slant manner from that curvy part to your armhole line. So you've been able to raise that place up a bit so that your boobs won't be showing. Yeah, we are almost done. And the next thing you will do is to insert your body measurements, and I'll be adding 1 inch on my pattern so I can hold it on the side by half an inch. For the, if you are using a lycra material, it is advisable for you to either reduce your measurements by 1 inch, or not even adding any sewing allowance, because lycra fabric is very, very stretchy. For this one now, with everything I am putting here, I've inserted my darts. What I took in for the dart, I took in 1 inch for the dart, so I have to add my 1 inch back to the waist measurement, the underbust and the waist measurement. So you do that as well. But if you are using a stretchy fabric, you are just make sure you just reduce it so that it won't be too big, and the firmness is all what you need. But for the back part, we won't be taking in our darts. So then the next thing is you secure using your ruler. Secure using your ruler down to the waistline. So by the time you hold in the dart, it will be prominent. So the next thing we will do now is to cut out our pattern. You can go over your measurements again. Make sure you are very comfortable with what you are cutting. And don't forget, I am cutting out the second armhole line because it is the front panel and it needs to be more prominent. Actually, I'll still be taking that off as well, but I'm just trying to show you that so you can remember. We've dropped tutorial on that in some of our previous videos, and so just make sure you take your time to cut out the neckline. You can sew this style using your ankara, your ashrebi, your stretchy material, and other kinds of material. So if you are using a non-stretchy fabric, that means you'll be needing a zipper allowance for your back. But for this one, I am using a very stretchy fabric, so there is no need for any zipper allowance because it is very stretchy and can be worn without zipper. So make sure, for if you cannot remember the way you draft out your pattern, you can actually number it or chalk so you can know where to cut out. So this is what it looks like after cutting. So when you open together, you can see, wow, this is absolutely beautiful. So that is the dart. You can decide to take in your dart or cut it out, but I will be cutting out the dart, so I'll just sew directly. I'll be cutting it out in this tutorial. So just make sure you follow the dart line. You really don't need excess dart for this particular wear because the cloth itself is defined already. So so now this is what our pattern looks like. Beautiful, isn't it? And it is pretty easy, like very pretty easy to do and very easy to cut out. So you can see what it looks like, and the next thing you do is you place on your fabric and make sure you pin it down before cutting. Make sure you pin it down on your fabric before cutting, most especially when you've added your sewing allowance to the pattern paper. I always advise adding sewing allowance to pattern papers so that you will be able to cut it out on time, instead of you cutting out the pattern and adding another sewing allowance to the clothes. You don't want to stain your clothes, and also it depends on the clothes color, because you cannot really be using marker on your fabric. So just add your sewing allowance and all the allowances you'll be needing to your pattern, and always keep your pattern for reference purpose. Yeah, you will be needing that. So this is you cutting it out, and don't forget you are cutting out the dart part as well, so it will just enable also it directly. Yeah, it's enable also it directly, so make sure you take your time to cut it out like that. So it is pretty easy to cut. It is pretty easy to sew. Just, in fact, once you get your pattern right, every other thing becomes right. And for me, if you are not using an ankara, you can always turn it with your interfacing, but with this I am not turning with my interfacing because I am not using an ankara. All what I'll be doing is I'll be taping it with a ribbon, a black ribbon, to give it a very defined style, to make it, because it is yellow, sharp rampra, and I want it to be very attractive like that. She gets. So this is what the front panel looks like. This is what it looks like. You hold that like that. So that shoulder you are looking at, I'll tape it with ribbon, and our crop top is almost ready. Yeah, almost ready. So you can see that's the length, although the length is a bit short, so I will just be adding a band of 2 inches to the length in order for it to come down to cover my abdomen. Yeah, so when I am not wearing a high waist, I'll not be stressed. Then this is the back panel. Yeah, all what I did for the back panel was just to place the front pattern paper on it and cut out. The only difference between the front and back panel is the armhole. I only made it a C cutting, but I made sure the shoulder line touches one another, so it will not keep wide joining. So you can call the back a C back cutting, yeah, if there's anything like that actually, but it is just a normal back, so it will cover. It is not like the back of the clothes will be exposed at all. So as you can see, and this is the front panel. You can place the front panel on the back panel to see what you have done. Make sure you keep trying and make sure you get it right. Yeah, when you get it right, then it is done. As you can see, that is the dart. I am not adding any dart to the back, yeah, because it is not necessary. It is not necessary. I already told us that I only added 1 inch sewing allowance. Yeah, this one is actually stretchy but very thick. So this is what the front panel and the back panel looks like. By the time I tape out with my bias, now it will be looking more defined, and you can add any other design of your choice, maybe a printing also. Thank you for watching. If this tutorial has been helpful, kindly give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on your notification to get more videos and more tutorial and more illustration. And you can also add a picture of what you want us to illustrate for you in the comment section. Don't forget to share. Bye.